So I'm really excited to do this video. It has to do with asylum and a Chinese Christian. And yeah, I'm really excited because, it covers an interesting topic that I enjoy, asylum, and it also, discusses Christianity, which is near and dear to me. So I'm just going to pull it up right now. All right. So difficult path for Christians fleeing China, right?
Do you remember how Chinese police barged into their house church and harassed his mother when he was only 6?
So right there, I mean, when he was a young kid, authorities, busted into their house church. Keyword house church. Usually, what that means, it may happen in the U.S. where it's a house church, a church is starting up, but at least in other countries, like in the Middle East, in China, and other countries, someone has a house church not because they're just starting their church. It's usually because they're doing it in secret. They're doing it in hiding because they cannot publicly demonstrate their faith in Christianity.
Three policemen catch her and drove away when she arrived. Some of them, they noticed that she didn't want to move, so they catch her feet and take her with them.
Paul says he was not afraid then because he knew his parents would be released in a few hours. As he grew older, however, fear began to creep in.
They have that fear. Someday they might be taken away, and me and my sister will go to other family's house.
Paul is now more concerned.
Yeah, and I mean, usually what happens, in other countries, I'm not too familiar exactly in China, but I know like in the Middle East, I mean, if you're Christian and like in one in a country where Islam is the faith for that country, in those countries, the political system and the religious system are like this. So if you are born a Muslim but then convert to Christianity, that's a big red flag. And it can, they can, if it's not like the government, it'll be, people that the government, allows to do these things. They'll take you away. They may torture you. They may put you in like in a detention camp. And do a whole bunch of things. So in terms of what he's saying here, I mean, yeah, he fears for his life that maybe the parents are going to get taken away. They will be, parentless. Their parents may be taken away, and then who knows what's going to happen, right? Only God knows what's going to happen. And in terms of some reasons why the countries do this, some of them see Christianity as an American, as a Western type of religion, and they don't want the religion and the American, values, all of that to start growing in their countries and planting different seeds. So that's some of the reasons why they do that.
Pastor Yong Wan-Hwan, the pastor led the Shenzhen congregation out of China in 2019, taking them to South Korea in pursuit of religious freedom. This resulted from increasing threats against the church because it opposed revised religious regulations in 2018 imposed by the communist government. Those regulations included limiting appointed place of worship, who could serve as leader, and where Christians could legally evangelize.
But yeah, I mean, it's pretty wild, right there. The government is, saying you can only evangelize, you can only have a church in these, scenarios. So the government is, controlling to an extent that, faith, that church, which is pretty wild to think about, especially, here in America where, freedom, whether you agree, whatever your interpretation is of it, it's a lot different than if you were in China.
After 2.5 years, however, the South Korean government denied the 16 Mayflower families asylum.
Yeah, and I mean, as you can see there, it's a lot different, than America. I mean, these individuals there, they just want to practice their faith. Even in America, like whether you disagree, whether you want to be, Hindu, follower of Islam, Christian, Jehovah Witness, Mormon, etc. You have that freedom to practice it. These individuals just want that. They just want to, believe what they want to believe. They're not hurting anyone, and they're prevented from doing that.
The Chinese Christian has a self-identity that they are they're willing to suffer and be martyred for their faith. So when a group decides they're going to leave persecution and martyrdom, that creates some tension in what has become a cultural and a religious identity of the entire house church Protestant movement in China. However, if you study the book of Acts, the Apostle Paul has led persecution as well. American Christians who have a tradition and a history of religious freedom and an understanding of the people and the principles upon which their country was founded, they understand the history of why the Mayflower pilgrims left and then came to the United States. And so they would be in support of people who would leave their country because of religious persecution to try and find a country where they could experience.
Yeah, and I mean, whether people, disagree, agree in terms of like, the founding, the principles, I mean, people did flee, from Europe because of, the religious, freedom, and then they came here in the US, they practiced their own beliefs. I mean, there was Quakers, there were deists in the early days of the US. There was Christians as well, but they came here, they were able to practice, their religion, their faith. And I mean, here as well, I mean, these individuals from China, they just want to be able to freely practice what they believe. I would say if these individuals, come to the US, they're depending upon, where they apply for asylum, is also going to be a factor in terms of whether it's granted. But just hearing it, I mean, I'd say there's probability, there's a likelihood that perhaps they would be successful on their claim. In terms of what do you need to prove in order to win asylum, right? I mean, you got to show that you've suffered persecution, or you will suffer if you go back, that it's based on your race, religion, nationality, particular social group, or political opinion, those five, that the government can't or won't protect you, and that you can't move any place inside your country to escape that harm, right? And here, I mean, religion is a protected ground. So because they're Christians and they are suffering persecution in China, they're not allowed to practice their faith. They're getting kicked out from their church. The police are going to their home. Like all of that, they're just red flags, right? On top of that, the fact that, the country is communist, I imagine there's also more of that government where it's like, well, we say goes, if you don't do this, repercussions are going to happen, right? So there might even be an argument for political opinion in there. So yeah, in terms of these individuals, I feel for them that they're suffering this. In terms of just like legal options, yeah, I mean, it seems like there would be hope for them here in the US, thankfully. And God willing that they do get here and they do get that opportunity to be able to practice their faith. If you found this video helpful, please let me know by hitting that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. It really helps this channel out to show the video to other people that need to watch this information, to get this information. Thank you and God bless.